We are good.
Okay, well, good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for this meeting this evening. We'll start by way of a brief introduction. So my name is Bruce Holliday, and I'm the principal at Owasso High School.
I'm Derek Walter. I am your students counselors. I'm the counselor of the class of 2023 and 2024. So I'll have all the dual enrollment students next year. So if you guys have questions, once this meeting is done, you can send me an email and I can help out the best I can.
My name's Brandy Brown. I'm the early college academic success coach for the RESD early college program. And I'd also be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you very much. And I'm grateful to both you, Mr. Wilcher, and you, Ms. Brown, for taking some time this evening to chat with students. Owasso, we say it all the time, and it's our conviction. We have the district of opportunity, and dual enrollment is a special and unique opportunity for students, but it's also one of those opportunities that because we're willing to invest a lot into students who want to do it, we feel it's really important that parents and students understand what dual enrollment looks like before deciding finally if it's right for them or not. So that's the purpose of tonight's Zoom. So thank you again for all those who could be here. And I will now turn it over to the experts to tell you more.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Holliday. So just to kind of reiterate what Mr. Holliday said, dual enrollment is a great opportunity, but it's a lot of responsibility. So tonight we kind of want to hammer home the responsibility part of it, the expectations that your student should have for class, the expectations that we have for your students. And then, Brandy Brown is going to give a presentation about that. And then once she's done, and I'll put a link in to the chat later, I'm going to go over each part of the dual enrollment parent agreement that I've sent out that needs to be signed by the 20th of May. In order for your student to do dual enrollment. So that's how we'll end. And then at the end of the night or this meeting, we'll take questions. If you have questions as we're going, put them in the chat and we'll answer them before this meeting is over. But for the time being, I'm going to hand it over to Brandy and she will give us a great presentation.
All right, I'm going to share my screen real quick. So first of all, welcome to dual enrollment in early college. We are really excited to have you here. First off, I'm going to start by talking about the financial commitments that your student may have. So the policy for repayment as designated by Owasso High School is that a student is not charged if they fail a course, but will be charged if they withdraw from a course. And Mr. Walter will touch more on that later. But the financial terms as designated by the RESD are that a student taking a Michigan transfer agreement course, which I will explain in a minute, is covered by the RESD, but students choosing sections outside of our listed MTA courses are not covered. Students outside courses in their 5th year are covered, and students summer courses may or may not be covered by their high school. An early college student is working towards the Michigan transfer agreement. Most colleges in Michigan are a part of this agreement, and the agreement is that 30 credits that a student earns dual enrolling through high school is sent as a package to a 4-year university after their 13th year. It's a huge commitment that these students make continuing in a 13th year of high school. And if you want more information on which colleges are involved in this agreement, which courses will specifically transfer, or any other general information, this website, mitransfer.org, is a really great resource, and I could also help answer questions there. So this worksheet, there should have been a packet sent to you with a copy of this presentation, this worksheet, and another, is the requirements of the MTA courses, and this is just kind of laid out to help keep your students on track. So they need 2 courses in English composition, 2 courses in humanities and fine arts, 2 courses in social science, 2 courses in natural science, and then 1 course in mathematics. I think it got cut off at the bottom, but this is a really great tool for students.
Brandon, just one quick thing on this. So as a junior, we don't allow your students to take English classes, and we don't allow them to take math. We prefer that they take 1 class a semester, a humanities, and then a social science. So if your student did sign up for an English or a science or a math, just know that we'll be working with them to adjust their course selection to something that we allow as juniors. So. All right, I believe.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, all right, okay. I was like, I thought we lost
Yeah.
you.
Sorry, let's try that again. All right, did you finish what you were talking about with that?
Yeah, we're all set.
Okay, good. I'm so sorry. Okay, early college students are also required to attend our early college kickoff. The orientation covers some things that your student may not know about college, and it helps to prepare them. So it covers the expectations of an early college student, gives them a glimpse at what early college courses may look like, ensures that your student is set up for the fall semester, and teaches them about some resources. Your student should have already picked a date when they applied to the program, but I also have the dates reiterated here to the right. Early college students are also enrolled in a Google Classroom that prepares them for college courses, and it will open in June, and they're required to complete it by August 10th. So that college student is, but what about a dual enrollment student? Dual enrollment students are taking courses to earn college credits in high school. They aren't generally working towards a specific goal other than their own. So they just take courses through their senior year and through the approval of their high school counselor. They are also welcome to take our MTA courses. It doesn't count as anything special for them. It's just a college course. So I also put together this roadmap plan of what students should be working on throughout their early college and dual enrollment years. So in 11th grade, they're kind of looking at careers. They might be doing some college visits. They are working on time management, and maybe they're doing some extracurricular activities to build up their rapport for applying to colleges. In grade 12, they are meeting with a college advisor to make sure that their classes will transfer. They're looking at scholarships, they're selecting a major to work towards, and they're making sure that their MTA requirements are fulfilled if they're an early college student. In the 5th year, students will do college applications, complete the FAFSA, complete any scholarships, and do any financial planning. And it's very important they communicate with all of their institutions that they're attending or planning to attend. So there are some differences between college and high school, and you may already know what is expected in high school classes. I'm just going to go over it really quick. So attendance is mandatory. There's not really a syllabus. Grades have many items in their grade books. Due dates can be flexible. There's study guides provided for tests, and there's 36 weeks of instruction. Parents have the ability to interact with the teacher. They can look on the student's Power School to keep up on their grades and attendance. Teachers can make exceptions for sick days, snow days, spirit weeks, anything else that comes up in the school year. Teachers know when you have field trips and sporting events, and they interact daily with students. College courses look a little bit different, especially for a dual enrollment or early college student. Syllabuses are used frequently. Grades are more so made up of exams and essays rather than a bunch of little assignments. Due dates are mandatory and not flexible. A student is responsible for any missed work or material if they're not present in class. They need to know all of their materials that they need, such as a calculator, what books they need. The courses are 16-week courses, so they're a little bit shorter, and they have to follow that college's student code of conduct. Here's the big difference. Parents, college faculty will not discuss your student's progress with you. So it is going to be your and your student's responsibility to keep up with time management, check in on their grade book, make sure that they have everything they need and whatever support they may need. Students have to be their own advocate. They have to seek out help if they're unsure or don't understand something. The big keys to success are going to be communication as being your own advocate, time management, and staying organized. And another big one is that snow days and other days like spirit weeks and all that are not off for college classes. Sometimes spring breaks don't align. The winter breaks may not align. So it is the student's responsibility to make sure that their work is in when it's supposed to. So some other student responsibilities throughout the program is to track their Michigan transfer agreement progress, make sure that their classes will transfer from one institution to another, communicate with the university that they plan to transfer to, meet all deadlines. We have a lot of deadlines coming up already. Complete all necessary forms each year, both through the RESD and the high school, earn a 2.0 or better in each course, communicate with the RESD when we reach out to you or if you need help, and complete and log 100 hours of community service that must be approved by your district and turned into your high school counselor before graduation. To help with some of the student responsibilities, I created a student schedule planner. It kind of helps them plan out what college they want to go to, what program they want to do. I have the MTA courses listed on here to help them keep track, and then they can plan out from 11th grade through their 5th year, kind of got cut off at the bottom, what courses they're going to take. So that should also be in the packet that you received, and I have some at the office too if you need some. I have a few slides left, so bear with me. Academic probation, so this is my specialty. If a student receives below a 2.0 in a course, the academic success coach, me, will help the student develop a plan of improvement for the next semester. So throughout the entire next semester, I expect to talk with the student weekly, talk about their struggles, accomplishments, help them stay organized, really anything that they need to be successful by the end of the semester and into the next one. Because a student must receive a 2.0 or better to continue with the program. As a college student, your student now has access to any resources that their institution may have. So that's academic advisors, tutoring, student services, clubs and organizations, anything that they could think of that is at a college. The parent role. So you now have a very unique student. You have a high school and college student all in one. So there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. Your student is going to have a lot on their plate. It will be important to help them with their time management, be their own self-advocate, check in on your student and make sure that they are on track, financially plan for the future if they plan to transfer to a four-year university, It will be a new relationship for you and your student to adjust to. And the biggest one probably is the FERPA forms. So if you do want to be able to see some of your students' college information, you will have to fill out the FERPA form on their institutions, or their community colleges website. And if you need help with this, I would be more than happy to help you with that as well. If you have any questions, you can give our office a call, or you can email myself, Carrie, or Nick, and we would be very happy to help you. And that's all I have today.
All right, thank you very much. So for those of you wondering, so that has a lot to do with our dual enrollment, LCC, taking college classes, early college. A lot of that stuff doesn't necessarily apply to those that are doing Health Science Academy, like those big plans like Health Science Academy, electrical, stuff like that. You don't have that much paperwork to do. So, but I'm gonna go over each point of our dual enrollment parent agreement. This applies to everybody in every type of dual enrollment program that we offer. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go through this one by one. Some of you have already filled this out, so this is going to be pretty dry, but it's good information that everyone needs to hear. But okay, so and this needs to be filled out by May 20th. I am going to put in the chat a link to this document. So if you have not received it yet, which I sent it in emails this morning, but hopefully if you didn't see it there, you can get the link here. But this needs to be done by May 20th, or your kid will, or your student will automatically be withdrawn from whatever program they signed up for. This has to be done by the 20th. All right, first point, I understand that Owasso Public Schools must make a financial commitment by May 20th in order to offer dual enrollment options for its students for next year. We will pay their tuition, mandatory course fees, material fees, registration fees, and any required textbook needed by the post-secondary institution up to the maximum cost computed by the district. You will then be responsible for financial obligations to us that would result from a withdrawal from a course if the student chooses that after May 20th to not participate in the course which they have enrolled. So what that means is May 20th, you can tell us before May 20th or before the end of the day that you don't want to do it, we'll pull you out. May 21st, you're in. We don't charge for the classes if your student tries their best and they fail, but we do charge if your student just decides to withdraw and not even attempt the class, because we have to pay the year before. So we have to pay now for next year. So that's why there's a financial obligation after May 20th. So if you're in it after May 20th, you're in. Students need to understand that they will receive 1 high school credit per semester per college course passed. Now, that's different than high school. For high school, you get a half credit a semester. These college classes will get you 1 credit a semester. On the transcript, it will go in as a CR, which is a D- or above, or an NC, which is an F, or if they withdraw. And then because of those CR and NCs, your dual enrollment classes will not have an impact on your overall GPA. Now, saying that, it doesn't impact your high school transcript. Your grades don't. We will take a D- in your college class and count it as high school credit. Colleges don't accept anything less than a 2.0, which is a C. And just know that when you start dual enrollment, you start, if you are taking college classes and getting college credit, you are starting a college transcript. So if you're taking classes through LCC, if you're taking classes at Baker, and you're getting college credit for it, you are building a college transcript that when your student transfers to a different college, it may impact their admissions, it may impact their financial aid. So just understand that it's important to get good grades in these college classes. Even though on our transcript it goes as a credit, it doesn't go as a credit on your college transcripts. So that's important to understand. Understand that if you fail to register for the classes, fail to attend classes regularly, drop or withdraw from class, otherwise fail, you'll receive an NC for the semester, be subject to disciplinary action, will be required to pay OWASO for the tuition, and may be ineligible from future dual enrollment opportunities. One thing to really think about, and it's not as much of an issue anymore, is our calendars don't line up, and I'll talk about that later, but students need to start on the start date of their college classes, which used to be before high school started, but now they start at the same time. So it really shouldn't be, I mean, since we start so early now, it shouldn't be an issue. But students need to attend class. If they don't attend, if they're nowhere to be seen for 2 weeks or even a week, they may just be dropped by the college. So it's really important for students to participate right from the beginning. Next point, if choosing a dual enrollment option meets a high school required credit option, high school credits granted to a student under dual enrollment shall be counted toward graduation requirements. High school credits will be awarded for successful completion of 1 semester of a 3 or more credit class. However, if you don't pass dual enrollment class, this may make me ineligible to participate in commencement, and I might need to attend summer school in order to be awarded a high school diploma. This is why we don't let juniors take core classes. We want to get their feet wet before they do that. As seniors, you can take English composition class for 1 semester, and that counts for your full English your senior year. Some students really like to do that. They only have to take English for a half year and they're done for the full year. Same with math. Now, if a student chooses to not take high school English and they take college and they don't pass, well, now second semester, they have to take first semester online and take second semester in person to catch back up. So that's why we don't allow juniors to do it. That would be something you deal with more as a senior. Next point, you must attend class at the designated institution and time period. At this time, busing is not going to be provided to dual enrollment programs, and parents have to give permission for their student to get round trip transportation. So we used to have enough students going to Baker, and more programs used to be hosted at Baker. So we had more kids going there where we would provide transportation. But now criminal justice 1 and 2 are taking place at Owasso High School. So it's here, so they don't need transportation. Health science and teacher cadet are both taking place at Nellie Reed Elementary in Vernon. And then, diesel, welding, auto, which I don't believe auto is going to run, but those are the only ones taking place at Baker, and there's just not enough kids to justify transportation. So there's not going to be transportation provided next year. So that's just something to keep in mind before the 20th. If that's going to be an issue and that unfortunately stops your student from being able to do dual enrollment, we need to know that so we can withdraw them now. Students will attend all class sessions, pay attention to meet all deadlines and complete assignments as outlined in the class syllabi. Understand that if you're taking an online course, you will sign in on a daily basis to complete assignments. They'll contact their college instructor through email or contact information provided as needed for questions and support. So big thing there, students that have to go to Vernon, students that have to go to Byron for electrical, make sure that you're going to class every day. All right, you can't be missing class. And then students that are doing their online dual enrollment through LCC, every single day you get 1 or 2 hours to work on your college classes. Every single day you need to use that time. To go along with the rest of it, you guys are going to have to use your college instructors to answer all of your questions. I have no idea what you're doing in your college classes. I don't have access to any of that. I didn't take that class. I might have a bit of knowledge here and there that could help you, but overall, as a college student, you need to communicate one-on-one with your professor, not me. Your parents aren't going to be the ones emailing them, or shouldn't be the ones emailing them. So students have to take responsibility. Students will not place themselves in endangering situations. As a high school student, you understand that you'll be attending college courses on a college campus that has students who are older than you there. Your parents have discussed their expectations for social behavior in a post-secondary setting, as well as their expectations on providing your own transportation. This one, I guess we could maybe reword it a little bit. There's not going to be as much intermixing because a lot of the courses have moved away from Baker campus to other campuses. If you go to Nellie Reed Elementary, please act appropriately for an elementary school. If you're at Baker, please act appropriately at a college. And if you're taking criminal justice here or online classes here, you know how you're supposed to act here. So just know that you're representing Owasso wherever you go. Act appropriately. You're taking college level courses, so act maturely. During dual enrollment class periods, and this is going to be for online dual enrollment kids. If you're not attending class on a college campus, you'll check in with Mrs. Geisky every day in the media center, and you will utilize a dual enrollment course period that you're assigned in a responsible manner to work independently on coursework. If you must leave campus, then you'll check out with the main office staff. The biggest downfall of students who fall behind in dual enrollment, what they'll do instead of using that course time every day to do dual enrollment, they'll be like, oh, I have a math test next hour, I need to study. Oh, I didn't do my English homework, I'm going to use this time to do my English homework every day. That's when you start falling behind, is when you don't start using that dedicated time for college. So make sure that every day you use that hour or two for your college classes. If you have extra time, sure, do whatever other coursework you want, but don't prioritize your high school work during that time over your college work. Students are responsible for providing a high school counselor with a copy of your college grades report before or by January 15th for the fall and May 15th for winter. It's a student's responsibility to initiate and complete this process. This is not necessarily true. We get all your grades given to us by the RESD. You don't have to worry about this part. But if we do ask for your grades and your reports, then you have to give them to us. But otherwise, we get reports. You have to follow the calendar for college courses. This means that there will be days where you need to attend your dual enrollment classes, including some Saturdays for certain classes. Now, those classes are going to be more of your math classes that you can't take till the senior year. Some of them meet, some math, or most math, and then some sciences meet 3 Saturdays a semester at the North Building, the RESD North Building. But that's something to worry about as a senior. If you have to miss Owasso public school things for a college something, you have to make sure that you get with your teachers to make up whatever you missed. You're responsible for getting missing work, and you understand that you're responsible for your own transportation to dual enrollment courses on half days of school, including when Owasso Public Schools is not in session, unless due to weather delays or cancellations. And you understand that good attendance is important. If you're doing online LCC, if you're doing online classes, there's no such thing as a snow day for you, unfortunately. If you're at Baker, obviously, if you're taking classes at Owasso or at Byron, if we have a snow day, you're not going. So if you're doing in-person classes, a snow day is a snow day. Many of those classes, you still have online work that you have to do, though. And then same with breaks. Breaks don't line up. Spring break definitely doesn't line up. So unfortunately, you may have to take the break from the beach for a little bit to go do some college coursework, maybe do a discussion board, but you have to do your work during the college calendar, and then you'll get a random week off during our normal school year for spring break for them. But and sometimes Christmas breaks don't line up, so just make sure that you are using your college calendar for your college classes, then your high school calendar for your high school things. If you plan on participating in college athletics, just be aware of NCAA guidelines and know that if a dual enrollment course counts towards NCAA requirements. It's your responsibility to talk to your athletic director prior to committing to take a college course and participating in college athletics to make sure you're meeting eligibility requirements. If you're taking MTA, it shouldn't be an issue. The LCC classes, the CTE classes won't be an issue. Where the only issue that I see coming into is if you're a 5th year college student in your 5th year, you're still a high school student. So don't think that you could like play college athletics through LCC if that's the school you're going through. You still haven't graduated high school technically until you're done with the 5th year. So you can't go on to college athletics until you're done with your 5th year. So just keep that in mind. It's a student's responsibility to contact the university in which they plan on attending once they're done with dual enrollment. So if you plan on transferring to MSU, it's your job to make sure that the classes you're taking at LCC, for example, would transfer to MSU. It's a student's responsibility to sign up with appropriate courses in conjunction with RESD staff and potential college advisors to create a plan toward a program of study and maintain a full class load. So on each of these statements, you and your student have to initial, and then at the bottom, both of you need to electronically sign and type your full name. So that's kind of all that this dual enrollment agreement that's all that it says. Now we're going to open it up to questions. If you don't have any questions, thank you for coming. Just make sure that this is filled out by the 20th. Make sure that your student has all of the steps done in order to do this. So they need to make sure that they've applied to the college. If they have to apply to the college that they're attending, they make sure they do that. They're not necessarily done when they sign the agreement for the RESD. So just make sure that they have all the steps done that are on the RESD's website. If they need help, have them come talk to me, have them get a hold of Brandy, and we will help them through it. But we'd like to have that patched up by the end of this week, midway through next week. But we're going to open up to questions, so you can ask them in the chat. You can unmute yourself and ask. I'll stay here until they're all answered. But otherwise, if you have nothing, thank you for coming. You are free to go. All right, so we got a question in the chat asking about acuplacer testing. If your student needs acuplacer testing, they can take it here at school. A lot of times students will either go down to the student union to take it, or if they'd like a quieter space, I can reserve our conference room here in the Student Services Center and put them in there. So have them do acuplacer if they need it. I tried to pull in all the students that needed or that were going to LCC that needed acuplacer. If they have a high enough PSAT or SAT score, they're exempt. So if they have a question on if they're exempt or not, they can ask me. If they're not exempt though, yes, schedule it for as soon as possible. Have them take it here at school. They can be excused from their classes while they do it. And then they should be good to go. Any other questions? Yeah, so the 100-hour community service, that is only for early middle college 5th year students. And yes, they need to be completed by the end of their 5th year. So, and Brandy, as far as I know, students usually don't have a problem hitting that mark, correct? I haven't heard of students really having many issues with that.
Nope. You can do most anything, whatever the high school approves. There's lots of resources in the community to do it. So
okay. Perfect. And then the student packets. So if your student signed up for dual enrollment, I guess not within the last 2 weeks, I sent a packet home with a parent letter in the agreement, I believe, and then an ad for this meeting. And then Brandy's presentation and the 2 handouts that she had, I emailed to everybody this morning. So if you haven't got that email, check your emails. If you don't get it, get a hold of me and then I'll send it to the correct email. I might not have the right one. I just have whatever is in PowerSchool. So if you would like a copy of the presentation and you didn't have it, or you don't already have it, let me know and I can send it to you. Any other questions? So, AccuPlacer PSAT scores, does the student send them? Yes, the student has to send them. On the AccuPlacer or the testing site on LCC, it's a pretty clear cut instructions on, like, there's a big banner that's like, click here to send your test scores to us. They click it, they download their score report, they upload it to LCC and they send it. And honestly, students have been getting responses very, very quickly on whether or not their scores are high enough. So they would know within probably an hour or two if they were good. If your student doesn't know how to do that, have them come talk to me. I've helped a couple students do it. It is a 3-minute process. We can get it done really quickly, and then they should be all set. So if they have questions, just have them come down to my office whenever, and I can help them through it. All right. Anybody else? Otherwise, it seems like people are dropping and we may wrap this up if no questions come in the chat in the next 10, 15 seconds. And if you have individual questions, don't be afraid to send me an email, give me a phone call tomorrow. As far as I know, I will, barring any emergency, I'll be very available tomorrow for questions. So, all right. Seems like we're clear. So thank you all for coming very much. Brandy, thank you very much for hopping on. And we'll be in touch. Let us know if you have any questions.
Thanks, Derek and Brandy. Have a great night. One more question just popped in though, I think.
So they can get their PSAT that they just took, unfortunately, is not quite available yet. And it probably won't be available soon enough that they can wait for it before doing AccuPlacer. Otherwise, they should be able to get their PSAT on their College Board account. A lot of students forget their password, and College Board makes it very, very difficult to recover your password and change it. It will take a phone call. It's not as easy as just your usual, I forgot my password, you type in a new one. It takes a phone call. But if they want to get their scores report, they can come talk to me. I have access to it. Yeah. So if their PSAT from last year is high enough, we can use the one from last year. So if that's the only one available, we'll use that one. If they can't access it, I can access it and send it to them. So I can do that. So yeah, you can use the old one, but I mean, at this point, it'd probably be their 9th grade year, or maybe even their 8th grade year is the last one they took. So yeah. Any other questions? All right. I think we can wrap this up. Thank you all for coming.